Hi everybody, it's me, Leotte-Keiva, and today I'm going to be presenting a lesson to you about doing a two-dimensional painting. And the title of this project is, What Does Spring Mean to You? Now, in order to do this project, you will need the following material. Assorted paints of a variety of colors. For this, I have blue, black, brown, green, and red. As much of a variety as you can because you want to think spring. Think spring. And for this, I'm also using Q-tips, fine, small paintbrushes, little small cut-up sponges. I have here stock poster board, stock paper, stock card. You can use the regular 8.5 by 11 for demonstration purposes. And for the little kids also, you might want a bigger size. So for this, I'm using the 11 by 14 size paper here. A Sharpie, so you can write their names on their papers. And for this project, because it's spring, and although it's a two-dimensional painting, I want to use more than just the physical painting. I want to try and stimulate all of the senses for this. So this lesson should be done outside. Outside, ideally, if you could go outside, have the tables prepped, the sitting area prepped with the paper, the paints, the materials on hand and ready, that would be ideal. So to prep this fun project, I will tell the kids, hey, we're going to go outside for something special. Take them outside, not to the tables yet, but take them outside, walk around the playground, walk around outdoors a bit. And I tell them, hey, guys, I want you to tell me, what do you see? Tell me something you see. Look around, look around. And I want them to tell me, ideally, some part of nature. Because this is spring. I'm not looking for the slide or the jungle gym. We're going for nature. What part of nature do you see? And go around, everybody have a chance to tell me what they see using sight. So then, okay, great. Oh, shh, be quiet. What do you hear? What kind of things do you hear? Everybody be totally quiet. And then that stimulates the hearing, and I have a few people tell me different things that they hear. And then, oh, wait. Do you smell anything? What kind of things do you smell outside? So once we go through the sight and the hearing and the smell, I say, okay, great. So you know what this is, guys? This is spring. These are all things that are part of spring out here in nature. So for today's lesson, we're going to do a painting. And I want you to paint me a beautiful picture of what spring means to you. I'm not going to present a model for them. I'm not going to demonstrate for them at first. I would like to sit with them while they're painting. I'll paint with them also. That would be fun for you to do that. But I don't really want them to see what I'm painting because you don't want them to copy you. So in addition to using their senses and getting their imagination going, it's a goal for them to get used to using something other than a paintbrush, using different materials to paint with also. Hence the sponge and the Q-tips and the fine paintbrush. You can even have them finger paint. You're feeling bold? Hey, that's great. That's fun. It should be a fun activity. Get their stimulants going. Okay, so we go outside. We walk through and say, okay, now everyone have a seat. Have them sit. And then we begin the fun. So for the sponges, this is a great texture. If I wanted to, say, do the clouds, I'm going to take it, dip it in my blue paint a bit, tell them to use it sparingly. Now for the tables, I would have friends share a palette of paint. So you can have 2 or 3 sponges, 2 or 3 Q-tips, however many kids you have sharing a plate, so they each can use the materials at once. But each child doesn't need their own plate. They can share the palette. The plate is their palette. So I've dipped my sponge in some blue here, and I'm going to make some clouds. So if you can see, and encourage them to go up and down, using different motions than they might be used to doing. I feel like the guy with the afro. You know who I mean. So we're going to use the sponge. We're going to make clouds. And when we're done all of this, after they've created a picture, whatever it may be, now please understand, this is process art. This is process art. We're not looking for a duplicate kind of product. Not everybody's picture should look the same. If a child makes a rainbow with 2 colors, and they could be black and brown, and that's his rainbow. There's no right or wrong in art. That's very important. So be encouraging. Yes, we want them to use as many colors as you can, but if they want to make their sky purple, hey, that's wonderful. It's art. If their swimming pool is red, hey, have at it. It's their creative vision, so you should be very supportive. You don't want to lead with things. Let them create, and then when they're done creating, ask them, hey, what did you make? What was that? Oh, what is this? And then afterward, you can do a great dictation. For those that can write on their own, there might be some that can do creative writing. You can have and help them if they need it, and write down what it was that they made. For others, they may have to tell you, and you can write it down. They can copy. For others, they can tell you what it is, and you write it down for them. And that's fine. And you can attach that at a separate piece of paper and hang that with their painting. But now, let's get back to painting. So, I've done my sky. How about some grass? Toothbrush. This is really fun. Now, be mindful. You're giving the kids a toothbrush. Make sure they don't use it in their mouth. So, I'm going to dip mine into the green. And you can model strokes for them. You can model how you're going to use the different materials. So that's great. I'm going to show if I can get this going right. I'm just going to brush upward using upward strokes to make some grass. Dip a little more. And that creates a very different texture than the clouds, which is really cool. They're both two-dimensional, but they both look very different on the paper. Going across. And as they're painting, you can encourage them to talk about what it is they're making. And how does it make them feel? If they're remembering something specific, a great memory that they're painting, encourage them to talk about it. This is also an emotional experience. This is not just physical art. We're working on social, emotional as well. And the more you can encourage children to talk about their feelings and emotions, the better. This is great. Okay, I've done my grass. For the tree, and just to be different, because of course, you know, I could use the paintbrush and paint it, but I'm going to use my Q-tip, because I want to show them you can use different tools to get the same idea going. So I'm just going to dip it in paint a little bit in the brown. Let's see, I'm going to draw my tree. And again, please be supportive and encouraging of their painting. It does not have to be the perfect tree. Or whatever it is they're drawing. It's creative. They could be a Picasso in the making. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Be mindful, because they will all be doing different things. We know how children can be. be sure that they're encouraging of their friends also. Because this, you're asking them, what does spring mean to you? And what it means to one child may be totally different than what it means to another. And we want everyone to be supportive and encouraging of their friends. So be mindful as you walk around. Listen to what they're saying. You don't want anybody saying to someone else, oh, what is that? That's not how you do it. But that's what it looks like to them, and that's great. And I love what you're doing too. So really encourage people to be open and accepting and see something different, through somebody else's eyes. So that's very important as they're doing this, because this is what spring means to them. Spring to somebody might mean sitting in their room watching TV, and there may be no correlation to nature whatsoever. And you've gone through, you've prompted, you've taken them outside, you've asked them to name different parts of nature. If you have a child who is not going there, that's not what spring means to them. If they don't really ever get to go outside, and to them, they're doing some part of their TV show. I don't know, like Paw Patrol, and they're drawing a Paw Patrol character. See if you can tie it in, like, oh wow, what character is that? Oh, that's so great. Okay, even if they're not depicting it in their painting, maybe you can draw it out in conversation. Like, okay, if that's, I don't know their names, if that's Chip that you're making, what a great picture of Chip, and can you describe it? Whoa, okay, so what would Chip do outside if he was out in the forest? What do you think he would like to play with? What do you think he would see? Or what if a big butterfly would choose? In any way that you can, even if it's just verbal and dialogue, to draw nature in there somehow, even if it's not depicted in their picture, that's fine. That's fine. So let me get back to this. I'm losing track here. I have red on here because I wanted to make a flower. Now, don't judge me, y'all. This is free art. Be open. So for this, I am going to use my fine paintbrush, and I'm just going to do some in the grass. You can't really see this done, but I'm just going to make little doot, 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 doot with the paintbrush. I don't know what they are, but they could be pretty exotic flowers growing in a field. You should allow at least 20 minutes for them to do their creation. You don't want to rush them. I need some greenery on my tree. So I've used the sponge for the clouds. I'm going to use it again for my tree, my leaves. So just as I did the up and down dabbing for the clouds, I'm going to do that for my tree too. Let's see what it looks like. Yay, I like that. And, oh, what's that? When I was talking to the kids, I heard a bird. So let's make a bird. I'm going to use my Q-tip to do that. And again, I may be sitting down and painting a little bit with the kids, but I don't want it at an angle where they can see, per se, because I don't want them to copy what I'm doing. I would like it to be a surprise. So if I could do it and kind of have it turned to the side at an angle where they couldn't see. And then at the end, by the way, you should allow a chance for everyone to show what they made. And then that's when you can reveal your painting. If you want to do that beforehand, that's a great idea. That would save you time, and that would free you up to allow you to walk around with the kids and see what they're doing and encourage them. That's a great idea.